Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AFC North Championship edition of the Huddle, a Black and Gold podcast, with your host with the most, Mr. Gage. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm sensational. That's my co-host, Ron Mont. Ron, how are you, pal?
I am doing fabulous.
The best you can given the circumstances, right?
It's brutally cold. It's wintertime. It's perfect weather for football.
It's the perfect time to determine the AFC North Championship.
Dun dun dun.
Honestly, the fact that one of these two teams, seriously, like real talk, one of these two teams is going to host a playoff game. Am I remembering that correctly?
So all division winners get to be have a home
Yeah.
playoff game, right? So whoever wins this game will win the AFC North, and then they will host a playoff game as
That is
more
a
than
travesty.
it is, right? As more than likely the fourth seed. Okay.
Unbelievable. We have these two teams. Like, listen, I'm not just gonna like rag on the Ravens just because we're division rivals. The Ravens are not particularly good this year. The Steelers are not particularly good this year. One of these two teams is going to host a playoff game, and that feels wrong to me. It feels like we're in like a Black Mirror episode or something.
Okay, but how many times has the NFC put up a 9-17?
Strong counter argument.
Oh, okay. And just even in the last couple of years, some 9-7 or some 7-8 or whatever, 9 teams or whatever, or 8 and 9 teams have made it into the playoffs. Check me on that, by the way. I'm out there. But
There's something
I'm,
like that.
I'm pretty
I'm pretty
sure
sure
there's been a
the
couple.
Washington, yeah, like Washington went in there with a losing record last year, didn't or a couple years ago, didn't they?
Or something like that, right? Okay. So here's the whole crux of this is this. Pittsburgh Steelers are playing the vaunted rival Baltimore Ravens for a shot at not just the AFC North, which the Steelers haven't won in quite a few couple of seasons,
A
right?
while,
Right? And
quite some
and
time.
exactly. And not only that, that's a ticket to fourth seed for the AFC playoffs. And I don't know about y'all, but I mean, I'm rooting for our team, man. I am. I'm rooting for the Steelers. Like I root for the Steelers every week. Okay, look, y- you take the fan out, and you leave the analyst here, and then or you take the analyst out and you leave the fan here. All right. Either way you slice it, as a fan, I'm always going to root for the team. As an analyst, I want to see the best game possible.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't care at that point who it is. I'm looking at X's and O's. I'm looking at who's the better passer, who's the better catcher, who's the better runner, who's the better defense, blah 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 blah, right? But as a fan, I'm always rooting for my team. My heart is always gonna go with the black and gold. I mean, hello,
Of
the name of
course.
this podcast is a black and gold podcast. What?
No, I mean, of course. And like, listen, I get that. And it's never a good idea to root against your team. It's tough to see a path to victory in some of these scenarios. Not so much with week 18, but let's say past the first round of the playoffs. You have Aaron
Oh, you
Rodgers
have
putting
to
up.
go there, didn't you?
I did. I mean, I feel like it's the elephant in the room here because I feel like
It
that's the
is.
big, like,
It
you
is.
know, hosting a playoff game. I'm not sure that that's quite been an advantage for us, at least the last few times we've been away, but like the 2020 playoff game. I know we didn't have fans in the stands, but it still counts for something.
Right. I mean, it was still a host of anyway. No,
Yeah.
the fact. Okay, so here's what more than likely is going to be the scenario if no matter whoever wins, if it's the Ravens or if it's the Steelers, I believe they'll go in as the fourth seed in
Yeah.
the AFC, which means that more than likely that's going to be a Buffalo Bills game.
I just don't see a path to victory on that one. That's a tough one.
Even if it was the Ravens. Yeah, okay, right. Even if it was
Good
the
point.
Ravens, I still don't see a path to victory there for the Ravens either against the Bills. If it's not the Bills and if it's the Texans, like you say, it could potentially be, but I don't think so because depending on how the seeding goes, if the Texans are like the seventh seed or the final seed, then it's not going to be the Texans, right? Because if they win the AFC North, then as a division winner, you get a home playoff game and you get seeding accordingly.
I'd use the word slightly more winnable when describing a potential playoff game against the Texans. And I mean, like the Texans have was like a top three defense in the league, and CJ Stroud's kind of reverting back to form a little bit. I mean, they're doing pretty darn well for themselves. I can't fault them on that. I like D'Amico. I like their coach. I just think it's a little bit more winnable than going up against Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen, this is a put up or shut up year for him. He doesn't have Mahomes in his way in the to stop his playoff run this time. He's what 0-4 in the
Or
playoffs against
Burrows,
Mahomes.
or
No Burrow,
Burrows,
no
right?
Burrow, no Tom Brady, no nothing. He
Yep,
like this is his year. He has to do it
yep,
this year. Period.
yep.
Point blank. End of discussion. And it's hard to see it, like especially when you have Aaron Rodgers putting up a Kenny Pickett esque stat line this past week. I mean, it just does not instill the most confidence, and that's why I'm leaning. I'm rooting for that Texans game to materialize, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
Let me say this, okay? Uh, Everybody talks about, oh, Aaron Rodgers been there, done that, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, that was what are we, 15 years ago now?
Yes.
Right?
He's a proven
Uh,
winner. It's like, yes, a long time ago, Mike, a
okay,
long time ago.
that's and kudos to you, man. And all the Tony Romo talk about how he's the best, Hail Mary thrower and all this other happiness and blah blah blah. And by the way, just in case you're listening, CBS. Oh wait, no, this game is going to be on Sunday night, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So then, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, and I mean, like, listen, one game to prove it all. Sunday night football, Steelers Browns, excuse me, Steelers Ravens, division on the line, everything on the line, just like it should be. And so there's something poetic in that. It always just I always feel the need to mention though, for some reason, that it's only because we blew last week so badly. Uh,
Well, it wasn't
I
just
don't.
last week. It wasn't just last week that we blew, right? If we would have won the games not just against the Browns, but against Cincinnati,
Hmm.
right? If we'd have
Hmm.
just won that one game against Cincinnati, just the one.
Have you heard the big stat line going on lately because of us losing to bad opponents? Mike Tomlin is 0-5 in his last 5 games against opponents that are at least 9 games, or excuse me, that are at least 8 games below 500. It's a big stat going on right now. I keep hearing it on social media, and I had to do a little Googling, but yeah, it's very fitting, is it not?
All right. Well, so now here's the real elephant in the room. Okay. If if by any chance, because look, it's gonna be nice and cold Sunday night. It's gonna be typical. We're gonna see potentially TJ Watt back. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That's gonna be good. We're gonna see probably Lamar Jackson's gonna probably play. You get what I'm saying, right? We're gonna get some of our guys back. Eccles will probably be back. Unfortunately, we're not gonna see Mount Washington for the rest of the year with a
Yeah,
broken
that's
arm.
rough.
Broken arm, but you know what? You just so happen to have like, oh, I don't know, three other tight ends you could use,
You
maybe.
just so happen to have a tight end on that roster named Pat Fryermuth that you're paying, what is it, top 10 tight end money to, I'm pretty sure. And they've just been kind of ignoring him, kind of like I just keep hearing from people that apparently Pat and Aaron have never gotten on the same page, and it's like there's just I don't know. At a certain point, there's just no excuse to not utilize a guy like that. And
I
especially
mean,
now that your
yeah.
big safety blanket, Darnell, is gone. Now you have no choice. You have no choice.
And Johnu Smith is another one who
John is
potentially could
good.
is another one that we've seen flashes of good from him, right? I mean, and in a pinch, you got Hayward. I
Hmm.
mean, uh, as a tight end, I mean, because look, let's face it, without DK Metcalf, right? You hear that laughter? You don't have much in the wide receiver room, right? And the fact that you can't even bring in Roman Wilson to even take a couple snaps is what does that tell you?
Especially after hyping him up like the whole week leading up to the game or whatever. Or was that last week? They're like, oh, yeah, Scott, don't worry about him. We're going to bring Roman into the fold. And he had like 6 snaps or whatever.
I was really thought that them selecting him where they did in the draft was a huge mistake because he was number one, too small. Number two, his game didn't was not going to translate because of his size and his diminutiveness. Okay, he wasn't going to translate really well, especially in an offense like the Steelers, where they don't really feature a guy that is doing jets down the sidelines, doing seam routes, doing jet routes, doing you get what I'm saying, right? We don't have
Yeah.
that over the top threat and we're not even trying. We're not even trying to do that. Our deepest ball is 29 yards or something this year. Stupid crazy, right? Like that's it. And yet we've got, according to Tony Romo, the best Hail Mary guy on the planet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 29 yards is the longest pass play of the whole flipping year. That's not a
And
big
that's what
Hail Mary.
happens. That's what happens whenever your entire deep threat, like your entire deep ball part of your offense is just fade routes or just throwing it deep and hoping for the best. I mean, that's what happens.
Uh,
When
you
it's a
know,
check down offense with no adaptability, that's kind of what you get.
now the fact that you got Calvin Austin the third has missed the last two games doing due to injury. Now let's look here. Is he even? Hey, look at that. He. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, all right. So, well, he'll probably be back as of he practiced fully on Friday, so he'll probably be back. But the fact that he's been out with a hamstring, you don't just heal from a hamstring in a week,
No, no.
right?
And
And
these
and
guys,
and
the way they train, you're never at 100% when you first come back anyway.
right. And so, okay, that's great. You get him back, and then the fact that he's so diminutive, and then you got look. I love Kenneth Gainwell. I love the fact that he won the MVP for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, big props to the guy, okay? But he's not exact. I mean, he looks like the ball guy when the whole team is walking out of the tunnel and they're all standing there next to him. He looks like the ball guy. Like that's how little he is, right?
He
Diminutive and,
does. And
and
he's also a number
slight.
two receiver.
Okay. Look, when you got that as your receiving core, and then you're supposedly got Aaron Rodgers, quote unquote, the best ball thrower out there, well, and you're barely, I mean, Fryermuth barely has 70 catches on the year. What are you? I mean, I'm scratching my dome on that, man. I really am.
And it's not like he's blown it when he's gotten his opportunities. He had that long. It would have been a game-winning touchdown if our defense didn't collapse yet again against what was it, Cincy?
Hello. Hello.
like in his very, very limited opportunities, he's done quite well for himself. And I mean, I love Pat and I love his style of play. And I love that he's, you know what's funny is that like we had Hines Ward 2.0 and Juju Smith Schuster, and we kind of wasted him and threw him away. And then we had Heath Miller 2.0 and Pat Fryermuth. And now it feels like we're wasting him and throwing him away. And it's kind of driving me nuts. And someone on another podcast, the name's escaping me right now, but I'll leave a link. But they were talking about how these are the kind of problems that you have when, oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. Here, I'll edit this
Oh
later on. Is that
no.
cool?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I lost my
cool.
train of thought. I'll edit it.
Okay. No problem, man. No problem. No problem. Are you gonna
Oh
be able to do it
man.
today? Are you
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
be
do
able?
it when I get home tonight.
No, 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 no. I'm gonna need to because it's Saturday, so we need to put this out today. I could just
All right,
cut
I'll
this
do it
part
right
out.
after we're done.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
if you want to just cut this part out, like can you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah. 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 No
Okay.
problem.
All right. Well,
Yeah. No
it'll
problem.
just be this chunk and then that'll be it. The rest
Yeah.
of the podcast will be clean.
Yeah. 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 We'll be good. We'll be all right.
All right. So, where do you want to jump off at? Do you want to ask me a question?
Okay. All right. So eh, no matter what, okay, this is a very key game here for everybody involved. Okay,
100%.
and I like what and look, I've been following some great shows, and I want to do a shout out
Mhm.
to some folks, to Trey Essex and Charlie Batch for Snap Count. Man,
Yes.
you gotta check that show out, man. Those guys, man, they had Rod Woodson on the other day, and man, those guys, yeah, right. I'm a huge fan of
I
Rod
missed that
Woodson,
one.
and they just break it down, man, and just give it to you straight, and that's what I love about what they're doing, man, over there on Snap Count. Got to go check them out. Trey Essex, and Charlie Batch, right?
I love casual shows, and that's why I love Charlie and what they do. And like pretty much any
Yeah.
show Charlie's on is just kind of I love his stuff.
Yeah, right. Because he's just straight out, honest, and he's going to tell you the
Mm,
way it is, right? And so is Trey. I love Trey Essex, man. I follow him on X, and the guy's just down to earth, and he just tells it like it is, and I love it. And it's great because those guys have donned the black and gold. Those
mhm.
guys have walked those hallowed halls. They have put their fingers in that hallowed grass. You know what I mean?
And they know what
They
it takes.
and right, and they've won trophies. Okay, come on. All right,
Hmm.
all right.
And there's this kind of like lack of learning from your seniors, if you will, that kind of is taken place in recent years. And I'm not really a fan of it. You see a lot of it in pro wrestling. You see a lot of it in a lot of other sports where it's just kind of I know my own way, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But I love hearing from Trey and I love hearing from Charlie. Their analysis is usually pretty right on the money.
I mean, when you got an offensive lineman, right, as part of your
Mhm.
show, it's going to be a good show, right? Right.
Not a lot of people can break down lineman gameplay. I think that that's a real edge that he
You know,
has
like
over a lot of guys.
like when you got an offensive lineman on your
Yeah,
show.
I
Yeah.
know, I love it. No, and like because it's hard. It's hard to break down line play. Like there's just it takes a very educated eye, and obviously like someone that's done it before is going to have that advantage. But it kind
Exactly.
of all blocking kind of like looks the same to an uneducated observer. I'm throwing myself in that category. Like when I hear people talk about someone's punch or their step, like I know what they're talking about, but it's hard for me to identify it, especially when I'm watching it on the field.
Well, like one of the first things that they teach you, like when you're playing offensive line, is gaps. So
Mm,
it's A gap, B gap, C gap, right? And it's the gaps on either side of the center and either
mm,
side of the guard,
mm,
right? So what they mean by a three technique is somebody that can play all those positions, right? You
mm,
can play center, guard, or tackle because you're gap responsible.
yeah.
So that means that whatever your blocking scheme is to be for however way the direction the play is supposed to go, you're always going to be there to cover your gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that nobody's, because you notice the defense doesn't line up. Like, see, when I was playing ball, right, you would have guys lined up on either side of you on defense, right? So
Mm.
there was like a 46 defense when we played,
Oh
because there was
goodness.
there was pretty much like a hat on hat for the offensive line. There was always a nose tackle, and there was at least always two other defensive guys and another end or something, right? When I
Mm.
played. So there was always four guys. So you always had to be gap responsible, because you weren't always going to get somebody lined up right over you. You were going to get somebody lined up in between you.
Mm.
And if you look at what's going on today, there's three guys on the line, and they're not lined
A
up over the
lot.
center, right? They're lined up in between the gaps. Come on. This is not rocket science here, folks. This is straight up football 101, right?
And there's not a huge amount. I don't think base is nearly as popular formation wise as it definitely was in years past. And it's kind of because it's such a pass heavy league now. You got guys like Pete Carroll that kind of hang on to the base defense, but it's become, I think, more and more of a lost art in time at times.
Well, when you got into, especially when you got into, uh, and the guy's name is escaping me right now, um, that won the Super Bowls with San Francisco, and he established the West Coast
Ooh.
offense.
Bill Walsh.
That's it. Um, uh, he established the West Coast offense, and
Mm-hmm.
that changed how defenses had to line up, because
Oh yeah.
you couldn't just go base. And then you got the the Buddy Ryan 4-6, and then you got and then of course the Dick LeBeau 3-4. Right
Oh
now,
yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the 3-4 defense
I am too.
if you have the personnel. So you got to have the personnel, right? You got to have the defensive linemen. You got to have the linebackers that can cover and can also blitz. And then you got to have cornerbacks and safeties that can shut down people and take care of business, right? But can also come in for the run. That's why I like the 3-4, because I think it covers a larger part of the field, and you can still have man against man, but still play a little bit of zone. But if you understand what I'm trying to get at here, right?
Yeah, and it's a little more like you know that the run game's covered. Like most times, like you're coming out in base personnel. If you know what's coming, you should have the run, and to be able to have that adaptability to stop the pass, then it really creates a lot of headaches for offenses because then they're going to start switching around personnel and whatnot. That was something that if I could give you a specific example, I remember that happening a lot in the Super Bowl Sean McVay had against Bill Belichick
Oh
where
yeah,
Belichick came out. If you remember that 6-1 front where they just kind of had everybody up and just clogged all the gaps and went vertical through the blocking and all that different stuff. And so then as opposed to the Rams, who that year were very much 11 personnel heavy and were making everybody else adjust, all of a sudden they were the ones that were bringing in different personnel and were finding different ways to throw different people on the field. And it was they were playing left-handed as opposed to the other way around.
exactly, exactly. And once you get to that, you know what I mean. That and but breaking it down to that kind of level, okay. And I appreciate what they do over there, snap count, and I really like that. And so kudos to
Mm,
Trey Essex and Charlie Batch, and really like what
mm,
they do over there. So, um, but and how does that relate to what we're talking about? Because they laid it out there on the line. They called it like it was, or like it is. You know what I mean? Just like what
mm.
we do, just like what we do here on the show. You
Especially
know,
Trey's Twitter account. His Twitter account's one of the best
I
in like the
know,
Steeler
right?
space.
I'm telling you, man. I love following Trey. He's so cool. And he's just a great down to earth, honest guy, and I love it. But kudos to Trey. Hey, by the way, if you're listening ever, we'd love to have you on the show. Anyway, come on
Oh
down.
yeah, 100%. I love
100%.
honesty out of my content creators. That's a big thing for me. Like when I hear guys that outright refuse to kind of address the elephant in the room at times, it drives me crazy. just certain people on certain shows where like they come to their defense at all times, and it just kind of makes for, I think, a worse viewing experience.
When you have somebody that's like what we do, and now we never played the game professionally. We never won anything professionally. We're not that kind of people. We're just content creators, but we're honest content creators, and we tell you like it is, just like what they're doing. When the team stinks, we're telling you the team stinks. When they're good, we're
Hmm.
telling you they're good. When they're being outcoached, we're telling you they're being outcoached. You know what I mean? And I have I have warm fuzzies about Sunday. I got to be honest with you, Gage. I got warm
What?
fuzzies, man. I do.
Good.
I mean, I'm feeling it, man. I'm
Good.
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Excellent. It's better to come in with that kind of energy than the inverse. Yeah. Let's
Dude,
talk about a path to victory. What's our path to victory against the Ravens? How do we get this home playoff game?
you need to historically do what you've always done against him and play better. Don't wait for them to make the mistakes. You need to push the pedal down. You need to feature the electric meatball. I'm so sick and tired of seeing them feature Gainwell. I love what Gainwell's doing, but hey, if you spread the ball out, they won't key in on that guy.
There's a happy medium there for sure.
You know, and speaking of spreading the ball out, Fryermuth has to be involved in
He
order
has
for
to be.
this team to go anywhere from now or any kind of run or whatever you all want to think or call or say. That man has to be involved. Okay. The fact that he has less than 70 catches on the year is disgusting. Okay. The
I agree.
fact that is, as a tight end fan, that's revolting. As a Steelers fan who saw this man coming in as um, a faster Gronk, a more leaner Gronk, a better Heath Miller 2.0, and you're leaving him in the lurch. He's not even part of the game plan. I don't get it. Okay, so
I remember hearing someone else mention that they're like, you know what, screw it. Just trade Pat Fryermuth to like Kansas City for a second round pick. They're like, if you're not gonna use them, screw it. Get a pick and just let them have their new Travis Kelsey.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. This year, man, New England, holy moly, the
Oh, what's
Denver
their deal?
Broncos, I'll tell you what their deal is. They got really good drafted quarterbacks that sat for a minute, came up through, played, got their butt kicked for a year, right? And now
Yeah.
look at what they're doing. The ownership has been building around them the last couple of years. New England got a great coach finally in Vrabel.
Hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, he should have never been fired from Tennessee.
I
Is
agree.
He's a great coach as far as I'm concerned. He was a great linebacker for the Steelers and for the Patriots. It's great seeing him up there coaching now for the Patriots. He's kind of doing it the Belichick way, only he's doing it his way, right? Because that's how he learned. He learned, right? He learned to
Hmm.
keep the guys accountable, but he does it in his way, which makes those guys want to run through a brick wall for him.
100%. And Vrabel's the guy that we can all agree that like he should not have been fired. He just lost the power struggle to the owners or whatever it was.
All day long, all day long. Yeah.
And I remember when the Patriots hired, or when they promoted Gerard Mayo, and like, look, Gerard's a really good defensive mind, and he was a lot of his fingerprints were on those elite Patriot defenses in those recent years under Belichick. So I really do want to give him credit for that. As a head coach, though, like promoting him from within, I did not think that was going to work. And then to hear, I think it was Kraft. I even like tweeted something about it a while ago where he was like, I still think that Gerard was the correct decision, and I screenshotted it and I was like, dude, just because this is right after they fired Draw Man, I was like, dude, shut up and go hire Vrabel already. And sure enough, like sometimes the solution is so obvious and every fan knows it, but somehow it eludes the owners, and it's very
All
funny to
right,
me.
I'm with you. Now, let's we, path to victory is look, you gotta feature the electric meatball. You gotta have a
Hmm.
defense with TJ Watt potentially coming back, with Eccles coming back, with guys filling up your defense. Now you can shift Ramsey back now to playing safety and everything else like that. So that helps your defense, especially playing against the Ravens. Um, this is Sunday night football here. This is everything you wanted, Mike. This is right here on a silver platter for you. The NFL served it up for you, brother. Here it is, man. It's your big giant slice of cake, man. Are you gonna eat it or are you gonna crap it? That's kind of how I feel, right? I,
It's a
I
way to
I
put it.
feel, look, here you go. Here's your opportunity. Go be great. Be
Mhm.
Santonio Holmes and go be great. Right?
I agree. I agree largely with everything you said. I think spreading the ball around, spreading the love, so to speak, and not just giving it to one running back, I think is a good path to victory, especially without DK, like you mentioned. I worry about our defense. I worry about our situational ball, and and like and I like that Detroit Lions game in particular kind of sticks in the back of my mind because we were an OPI away from a fantastic collapse. So
Uh-huh.
we that being said though, uh Ari has been solid this year, I would say, for his age at least. He knows how to manage the game and isn't going to put the ball in harm's way over and over and over again or anything like that. This won't be a 3 or 4 interception game, so it'll at least likely be within reach. I don't see it being a blowout. I see it being a sloppy AFC North game, which is great. That's what you come to expect from these games. And
Yeah, it's
so,
gonna be cold.
yeah, it's gonna be freezing probably.
Yeah.
And above all, I think Boz needs to come through. I've been worried about him in recent weeks because I think that he might be what it comes down to in the end. Could you see this being a field goal game?
No.
No.
No. Hmm. Not based off of how Mike has been coaching lately. He's like deathly afraid of putting Boswell out there on the field for whatever reason. I
Good
don't
point.
get it. I mean, at your 4th and 7 on the 24, man, that's a chip shot. That's pretty much. I mean, as the 5-star matchup would say, money, 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 and
Can
yet,
I give you a
he,
theory?
yeah, go.
I'm thinking that he might be injured. That's why he's missed. What is it? He's like shanked kicks in like back to back weeks. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it
he
might be
might.
him.
You
They might
know,
not let him do those kicks.
that's possible because you remember when the field was really bad, like in week 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever it was, and he missed that field goal and he actually like shanked his ankle a little bit,
Yeah, that's it.
right?
Kickers are kickers, man. Like
Hey
it happens
man, and
sometimes.
if your ankle ain't working right and your plant foot ain't working right or whatever the case is, man, you and that mechanic ain't working right, I don't care how close you are, all right.
You saw it
So
happen to Adam Vinatieri, at the end of his career. He was the most automatic kicker pretty much ever, and he just broke down at the end of his career. It just happens to
yeah,
some guys. Fingers crossed, because Boswell had that bad year, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, and he was able to right the ship and get back on track. But it does make you worry a little bit. If this game comes down to just a field goal or two, you got to wonder about if it was a fluke or if something might be up.
well, I haven't seen him on any of the injury reports. So if it is something that's bothering him, they're not letting it on or whatever the case is. So that's the path to victory.
Mm.
Beyond that, if they go in as the 4th seed and they do have a home playoff game, um, it's more than likely going to be against Josh Allen and the Bills, and I don't
Brutal.
see a path to victory for that, but because I think it's going to come down to the Patriots and the Broncos and the Bills.
The Broncos having Tim Tebow 2.0 is just one of the funniest things in the world to me for some reason.
Dude, Bo Nix, come on. Now I watched him in college, all right? And his
The
game,
seven
it's
years he was there or whatever.
you right, you know. But some guys' games translate. And how about Drake May? Like I mean, who would have thought a no name out of no college nowhere came Drake May, and man, that dude is just I mean, he reminds me a lot of Brock Purdy.
That's a pretty good pro comp, I'd say. I mean,
Yeah.
Drake May has been as good as you could have hoped that he would be through, the first little bit of his career. And I mean, the fact that he's already got the Patriots in the position that he has them in addition to the coaching and the defense and everything that goes along with the Patriots and what they're doing,
You know?
they're coming together at the right time, and he's
Yeah.
got a ton of time left. Is he rookie or second year? I always forget.
No, I think this is like his second or third year, something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
something
second
like
or
that.
third year. Yeah.
It just
Still,
I've been impressed with him, man. I've been very impressed.
you know who else I've really been impressed with too, and that's Seattle and Sam Darnold.
I don't know how I feel, man. Sam Darnold is not bad. He's definitely not his seeing ghosts Jets form, but there's just something about it. It's kind of like the Jared Goff thing. Like Goff is undoubtedly a pretty solid quarterback at this point, but there's just always part of me that remembers what Belichick did to him in the Super Bowl, which is a me problem, not a him problem, but it's just
Right.
something I think about, right?
Okay. All right. So now here's the real elephant in the room, and this is what I think we really need to talk about. Because let's face it, if Pittsburgh were to say lose this game on Sunday, that means that the season is over. Okay, you pack up and go home, and that's it. We're done. Okay, no more Steelers football after Sunday, right?
Mm.
What are you prepared to do if that's the case? Right? That's what I'm going to be worried about. What's going to happen? Because everybody knows that Mike Tomlin is signed for the next 2 more years. Okay, I've been seeing stupid little things that I don't believe none of it. Okay, until I see it actually happen, right? But if Tomlin decides to part company, which why would he? I mean, he has absolute utter control here. He has everything he needs here. Why would he want to leave? Right? He has a legacy here, unless he wants to do a Bill Belichick at the twilight of his career and try and go coach some college teams somewhere, right? But
He has an infinite money glitch and ultimate power over one of the biggest organizations in professional football. He will squat on that post for as long as he wants to. And, I've heard those same rumblings that you've heard too, that apparently they've been clashing heads, him and ownership behind the scenes. And I kind of doubt it, to be honest with you. But I do know that the Rooneys do not like to be they don't like bad headlines, and this season has been full of bad headlines, both on and off the field. And you got to wonder how that plays in their head, especially after he
well,
is a. Can you imagine that we win this game, we go on to Buffalo, we lose to Buffalo, and Mike Tomlin officially ties Marvin Lewis's all-time playoff loss streak, going 0-7. How does that reflect on the Roonies? I really want to know. How do they feel about that? Do they care at
uh,
all? I don't know.
well, if they make it to the playoffs, right, then it was a profitable season. right? So as
Yeah.
far as if you look at it from a business standpoint, right? If the Steelers make it to the playoffs, that's a profitable season. Okay. Even if they don't make it to the playoffs, right? It's sellout every week,
Yeah.
right? So even if they don't make it to the playoffs, it's still a profitable season. Okay. Um, you can still say that Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season because he was what 500, right? Hey, look,
I'm
hey,
so tired of it.
I'm just throwing all of it out there. I'm just throwing it all out there.
I'm not
Okay,
shooting the messenger. Don't worry.
right. I'm just throwing it all out there. Okay. Um, and the fact that he won the division and then he made it to a playoff game and then got his butt kicked again, but he still did made it to the playoff game and won the division, and so he's still signed for 2 more years. And so, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter what happens. Tomlin's still going to be the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers for another 2 more years, and y'all just better swallow that pill,
And
okay?
probably longer. And probably longer.
Because yeah, because if he even gets a sniff of having Rodgers come back, which I doubt, I
I doubt it.
highly, especially if they get knocked out in the first round, right? Or if they lose on Sunday, I don't see Rodgers coming. But he's already said this is his last year,
Yeah.
right? When you come out and say that at the beginning of the year, you're already retired.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, okay. And look, I'm not taking anything away from the guy. He's played for 22 seasons now, right? You want to
Mm.
retire? See ya. Okay, it's been a slice. But here's the problem: if Tomlin's still going to remain the coach, now that means you got to pick a quarterback or you got to go try and find a free agent quarterback again. And we can't do that again.
I'm
We
just you
can't.
have you heard those same things that I've heard that's like, hey, the Steelers, are going to be fighting for the division next year with Kirk Cousins or Anthony Richardson or just like it's always one of those bargain bin pulls. And the sad thing is that I think you can attest like I can. Every single one of them are totally believable.
Yep. Can't say anything about that. Yep. Okay. I, like I said, I do have warm fuzzies about this game. I do feel that the Steelers, and I'm even gonna throw it out there and say 17-3. Yes, all right, I'll say 17-10 because I
Okay.
think I think Lamar is going to at least get a running touchdown or a passing touchdown or something. So 17-10,
You
right?
think the defense
It's
is going to
not
show up?
well, TJ Watt's going to show up. And and willingly, Lord willing, Harmon's going to show up cuz every time that kid's out there, he just looks better, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so hopefully he shows up. We're gonna have Eccles back, so we're gonna at least have somebody back there that can cover somebody,
Yeah.
right? Which means that we can move Jalen Ramsey back to safety, right? So I mean,
Which people have been calling for a while anyway.
right. So that's all good, right? So you're getting some guys back. I mean, you're for a change, you're gonna actually have Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt on the field at the same time. I mean, I don't know that bodes well as far as I'm concerned.
It
I
definitely
mean,
your chances of winning are definitely better with them on the field than without them.
you're
It's
going to potentially have Calvin Austin the third's going to potentially be back. You know, I've been hearing rumblings that they're trying to or that they've reduced the suspension of DK Metcalf to 1 game and he'll be playing Sunday night. I'm just like, yeah, I don't think so, guys.
nah.
I don't think so, guys. But I did see though that the Steelers are not going to waive any of his bonus money, which I mean, okay, uh, yeah, all with him not being on the field, that's costing the offense
hmm
all day long. So, however much money you think that's worth for you to pay for not having that production out on the field, then okay, you go ahead, right?
So your prediction is 17-10, and
Yep.
we bring it home.
Yep. Yep. And then we go on to face Buffalo Bills as the fourth seed at home. Yeah.
I'm gonna predict. I don't know. I can't shake the feeling that after the last couple of Ravens games we've had that it just doesn't. I'm not as confident. I feel like Lamar works better against our defense now than he did in years past. Because for a while we just dominated Lamar. Like he couldn't do anything against us for a while, and I don't think we're there anymore.
Mm-mm.
And I worry about this game a lot, especially with Lamar coming back.
I mean,
I'm going to predict 31-21 Baltimore. I think that Aaron's going to put up a couple of touchdowns. I think that he's going to try and make it close and whatnot, but I think there's going to be some kind of, I'm going to say some kind of turnover or whatever that's going to kind of finally tilt the tide in the other direction. But if we were to win this game, and we move on to Buffalo or Houston, I'm gonna keep that in the mix because I've heard a lot of people mention that. I think it's important to keep that in there because it could be one of those two. Because against Buffalo, there's not a lot to say. I don't think, especially because this is Josh Allen's year. So
right.
going against Josh Allen or C.J. Stroud, I think you take the C.J. Stroud matchup all day. But I worry. I worry. I think that our best path to victory is like, let's say we beat Baltimore and then we go on to Houston and like imagine we win that playoff game. Then where does that take us from there? Because I think at that point, if you can beat Houston, can you beat Buffalo after that? I don't know. Like I'm trying to see the
I don't think it'll be a Buffalo team at that point. It'll be a New England team
New England. Yeah,
A Bronco team, or you know what I mean, or something like that, because I don't think you're going to get that. But um like I said, I think it's going to be anywhere between the Broncos and the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. You're calling for it to be Bills' year. I don't I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
man. I don't know if he's going to be able to get past New England and or the Broncos. One of those two teams are going to have to get past, and I don't know if they have a defense that can do that. Their offense, yes. Defense, we'll see.
Yeah, if you're asking for like a Super Bowl for like who like a team I actually think is going to take it home as a prediction, I said that it has to be Josh Allen's year because there's no one left in his way. But oddly, I still don't think he gets it done.
Right. I see that's kind of where I'm at because I don't have very much confidence in their coach.
Nah, he's Mike Tomlin of Buffalo.
Okay, there you go. So there you have it. So we're both predicting a win. We're both predicting to see the Steelers win the AFC North and then go on to do a playoff game, whether it be the Houston Texans or the Buffalo Bills. Either way. Um, and if the opposite happens, we're picking 19th. We're
Again,
right. We'll see y'all at the draft in April. All right, that's
which
about
is
what
in Pittsburgh, isn't it?
it is. It
Oh goodness.
absolutely is. The draft for 2026 is going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Um, get your tickets now,
Yeah.
because I'm going to tell you right now. You ain't gonna be able to get a place to stay if you want to go, because you ain't gonna be able to.
Nah.
By the way, just to let everybody know, this is not going to be the end of the huddle. We're not done.
No.
Even if the Steelers are done, we're going to come back and break down that, however beautiful or ugly it might be. We hope everybody had a happy New Year and had a Merry Christmas and all that. And we can't wait to dive into some great stuff here. Who knows? We might even have some other content here just to cover some other games. Who knows? Just because, why not? But
And I look forward to the off-season content too. You know, we have a
I know,
bunch of
yeah.
ideas
Yes, we
for
do.
ranking things and talking about past teams and whatnot. You know, if you remember that big piece of paper I sent you that was full of
Yes, I
ideas,
do. I still
I
have
can't
it.
wait.
I took a screenshot of it, so I have it saved.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Dude, like, I gotta tell you something, man, for real, okay? So couldn't have done this show without you, my man. It's been a huge blast to do this show for this season. I want to keep doing it. I want to keep going. I'd like to see it get bigger. I'd like to see us be able to bring in some guests. Trey,
Yes.
if you're listening, buddy, hey, we'd love to have you, man. Or Charlie, hey, I don't care.
Trey and Charlie, we love you guys.
Love you guys, man, for sure. Love to have you on. But yeah, man, all the thumbs that you do, man, all the work that you do, all the things that you do as part of the contributions to this, man. Thank you so much, Gage. I I couldn't do it without you, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
I couldn't do it without you, pal. I appreciate you, Ron.
You got it, man. So why don't you tell the folks where we can find all of your other stuff?
You can find my Yu-Gi-Oh content at Gage Ryan Video. You can find my MMA content at Contender MMA, and you can find myself, Ron, Frayne, and Steve with all of our Steelers content that you can't find here over at Five Star Matchup.
For sure, for sure. Be sure to go over there and check that out. Thank you all very much for tuning in and checking us out, man. We'd really appreciate if you hit the like and subscribe button. That would be really greatly appreciated. You can catch me on Twitter at RNJ underscore media. You can also check us out on the website. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel for all the great content here. Thank you, Gage, for everything that you do, man. Really appreciate that. For sure, for sure. We will catch you guys all on the next episode of the Huddle.